Johnny immediately called his assistant. "We need to halt filming. I need an animal rescue team, blankets, and a heating lamp. Now." "What?" "Johnny, we can't—" "I don't care about the schedule," Johnny said firmly. "There are babies here who will die if we don't help them. Make it happen." Within an hour, the set was transformed into a rescue operation. Johnny called a local animal rescue organization who sent an experienced team. The film crew, curious about the commotion, gathered to help. But there was a problem. Ghost wouldn't let anyone near her kittens. Every time the rescue team approached, she hissed and positioned herself between them and the babies. She'd learned not to trust humans, and she wasn't about to start now, even if they were trying to help. "We might need to sedate her," one of the rescue workers suggested. "It's the only way to safely move them." "No," Johnny said. "She's been through enough trauma. Let me try something." Johnny sat down on the cold floor, about 10 feet away from Ghost and her kittens. He didn't move toward them. He just sat quietly, occasionally talking in a soft voice. "I know you're scared, Mama," he said gently. "I know you've had to fight for everything, but we want to help. We want you and your babies to be safe and warm." The film crew watched in silence as Johnny waited. 10 minutes passed. 20. Then, slowly, cautiously, Ghost took a step toward Johnny, then another. She sniffed his extended hand, her body tense and ready to flee. Johnny didn't move. He just kept talking softly. "That's it. You're such a good mama. You've done everything right. Now let us help you." After what felt like an eternity, Ghost relaxed slightly. She walked back to her kittens, picked one up gently by the scruff of its neck, and placed it in front of Johnny. It was an act of trust. A mother placing her most precious treasure in the hands of this stranger who had shown her patience and respect. The film crew was crying. One by one, Ghost brought each of her 4 kittens to Johnny, entrusting him with their lives. The rescue team transported Ghost and her kittens to an emergency veterinary clinic. All 5 cats were severely malnourished and dehydrated. The kittens were also suffering from respiratory infections, common in kittens born in cold, unsanitary conditions. Dr. Patricia Rodriguez examined the family. "This mother saved their lives," she told Johnny. "She was starving herself to feed them. Another week in those conditions, and none of them would have survived." Ghost was so exhausted that she fell asleep during the examination, finally able to rest knowing her babies were safe. The kittens snuggled against her, purring softly despite their illness. "What happens to them now?" Johnny asked. "They'll need several weeks of treatment," Dr. Rodriguez explained. "Once the kittens are old enough and healthy, they can be adopted. The mother," she paused. "Mother cats who've been through severe trauma often have trouble being adopted. People want kittens, not adult cats with trust issues." Johnny looked at Ghost, sleeping peacefully for probably the first time in months. This brave mother who had done everything to save her babies deserved more than being passed over in a shelter. "I'll take her," Johnny said, "and I'll make sure the kittens find good homes." For the next 3 weeks, while filming continued, Ghost and her kittens stayed in a warm, quiet room that the production company rented near the set. Johnny visited them every day, sometimes twice a day. Slowly, Ghost began to trust. She'd greet Johnny with soft chirps instead of hisses. She'd let him pet her while she nursed her kittens. She'd even purr, a sound she probably hadn't made in a very long time. The film crew became invested in the cat family's recovery. They took turns visiting, bringing toys and treats. The catering company started preparing special meals for Ghost to help her regain weight. The production designer built a custom, multi-level cat tree. The 4 kittens thrived. The crew named them after famous New York landmarks: Brooklyn, Manhattan, Hudson, and Liberty. They grew stronger each day, playing and tumbling over each other under their mother's watchful eye. But the real transformation was in Ghost herself. Once thin and terrified, she became a confident, affectionate cat. Johnny renamed her Mama, because that's what she'd always be, even after her kittens grew up. For the next 3 weeks, while filming continued, Mama and her kittens stayed in a warm, quiet apartment that the production company rented near the set. Johnny visited them every day, sometimes twice a day, bringing crew members who wanted to help. Slowly, Mama began to trust. She'd greet Johnny with soft chirps instead of hisses. She'd let him pet her while she nursed her kittens. She'd even purr, a sound she probably hadn't made in a very long time. Film sets are chaotic places, hundreds of people moving equipment, actors rehearsing lines, directors calling shots. But on a cold November morning in New York City, something unusual caught Johnny Depp's attention. A stray cat that shouldn't have been there. A cat that kept coming back day after day, no matter how many times she was chased away. What Johnny didn't know was that this cat wasn't just looking for food. She was on a desperate mission. And when he finally discovered the truth, it would not only save lives, but remind an entire film crew about the power of compassion. Before we dive into this incredible story, let us know where you're watching from and hit that subscribe button. You won't believe what was early November in Brooklyn. Johnny Depp was filming an independent movie in an old warehouse district. The weather had turned cold, and the streets were mostly empty, except for the film crew setting up each morning. On the 3rd day of shooting, a production assistant noticed something unusual. A tabby cat, thin, dirty, and nervous, was lurking near the catering tent. The cat kept her distance, watching from behind equipment boxes and parked trucks. "Someone get that cat out of here," the assistant director called out. "We can't have animals on set. It's a liability." Security tried to shoo the cat away. She ran, but not far. By lunch, she was back. Always watching, always waiting. Johnny noticed her during a break. The cat had distinctive markings, gray and brown tabby stripes with a white patch on her chest. Her green eyes were alert, but wary. She looked malnourished, her ribs visible beneath her matted fur. "Has anyone tried to feed her?" Johnny asked a crew member. "We tried," the woman replied, "but she won't come near us. She just watches and runs away if you get too close." Something about the cat's behavior bothered Johnny. Most stray cats, if they're hungry enough, will eventually approach humans for food. But this cat seemed different. She wasn't just scared. She was purposeful. Tea happens next. Days passed, and the cat became a regular presence on set. The crew started calling her Ghost because she appeared and disappeared without warning. Some people found her annoying. Others felt sorry for her. But everyone agreed she was persistent. Johnny started paying closer attention. He noticed something odd. Whenever someone left food out for the cat, she wouldn't eat it right away. Instead, she'd take a piece of food in her mouth and run away with it. Then she'd come back for more, repeating the process. "She's not eating," Johnny said to his assistant one afternoon. "She's taking the food somewhere." "Maybe she's burying it," the assistant suggested. "Some cats do that." But Johnny wasn't convinced. The cat always ran in the same direction, toward an abandoned building at the edge of the lot. And her trips were too frequent, too urgent. This wasn't about hoarding food. This was about something else. On the 5th day, Johnny made a decision. "I'm going to follow her," he told his assistant. "Something's not right." "Johnny, we have a scene in 20 minutes, the assistant protested. "Then we'll have to wait," Johnny replied. "This is important?" Johnny waited by the catering tent with a handful of food. Sure enough, within minutes, Ghost appeared. She approached cautiously, grabbed a piece of chicken, and immediately turned to run. Johnny followed at a distance, careful not to startle her. The cat led him across the empty lot, through a gap in a chain-link fence, and toward the abandoned building, an old factory that had been closed for years. Ghost squeezed through a broken window at ground level. Johnny found a side door with a broken lock and carefully pushed it open. The interior was dark, dusty, and smelled of mold and decay. Broken equipment and debris littered the floor. "Ghost?" Johnny called softly. "Where are you?" He heard a sound. Not Ghost's meow, but something else. Multiple high-pitched squeaks. Baby sounds. Following the noise, Johnny made his way to a corner of the building where old machinery had been pushed against the wall, creating a small, sheltered space underneath. He pulled out his phone and turned on the flashlight. And there, in a nest made of torn fabric and cardboard, were 4 tiny kittens. They couldn't have been more than 3 weeks old, eyes barely open, bodies tiny and vulnerable. Ghost stood protectively over them, the piece of chicken she'd carried already torn into small pieces for her babies. Johnny's heart sank. "Oh, Mama," he whispered. "You were feeding them. Not yourself. You were feeding your babies." Ghost stared at Johnny, her green eyes filled with a mixture of fear and exhaustion. She was so thin, clearly sacrificing her own needs to keep her kittens alive. The basement was freezing, with no heat or shelter from the elements that were getting colder each day. The film crew became invested in the cat family's recovery. They took turns visiting, bringing toys and treats. The catering company started prepared. Mama rubbed her head against Johnny's hand and purred deeply. That same rumbling purr that had comforted her kittens through their darkest days. The film crew erupted in applause. Everyone was crying. The tough security guards who had tried to chase her away, the busy assistant directors, even the skeptical producers. Mama had touched every single person on that set. "Welcome home, Mama," Johnny whispered. "You're safe now. Forever." The story didn't end there. The film crew was so moved by the experience that they started a program called Set Strays. The initiative encourages film and television productions to help stray animals found on location shoots. Within the first year, Set Strays helped rescue and rehome over 200 animals across the country. Production companies began including animal welfare protocols in their standard procedures. Some productions even hired dedicated animal liaisons. Johnny shared Mama's story on social media, and it sparked a movement. Thousands of people were inspired to foster or adopt cats, especially mother cats with kittens, who are often the last to be adopted from shelters. Animal shelters reported increased adoptions and donations nationwide. The phrase, "every mama deserves a chance," became a rallying cry for animal rescue advocates. The cinematographer's documentary about Mama went viral, reaching millions. Major news outlets covered the story. Animal welfare organizations cited it as a turning point in public awareness about the struggles of stray mother cats. Today, Mama lives with Johnny in a home filled with love, warmth, and endless cat toys. She's gained healthy weight, her fur is shiny and beautiful, and she discovered the joy of sunbathing in windowsills and chasing laser pointers. She's no longer the desperate, frightened cat stealing food from a film set. She's a confident, happy cat who finally knows she's safe and loved. The 4 kittens grew up healthy and adored in their new homes. Once a month, they have family reunions where all the cats and their humans gather together. The crew calls these gatherings proof that taking a moment to care can change lives forever. Johnny keeps a photo on his desk, Mama on that first day, thin and scared, carrying food to her hidden babies. "It reminds me," he says, "to always